She began searching, her target the satellite uplink control protocol. But as she navigated the system logs, she found something else. The Boreas rig was supposed to be in automated maintenance mode, consuming minimal power, but the energy logs showed anomalous spikes occurring in cycles. The source? All from pressure and acoustic sensors on the rig's exterior. The exact areas where the parasitic lattice was growing. It was drawing power. It was growing stronger. Then she found the audio files. Logs from microphones on the ROVS, recorded weeks before the system was disconnected. Curiosity drove her to open one. The sound was initially just static hiss and the deep hum of water pressure. But then, through the noise, she heard it. The tapping described in the memo. But hearing it directly, it wasn't just tapping. There was something else, faint. A low, steady hum, almost below the threshold of hearing. A chant, rhythmic and droning. It was the delta wave rhythm, the sleep signal she detected. It was no longer just a silent data stream. It had grown strong enough to produce physical sound. It was singing its song into the abyss's darkness. Nasha hit, but Aina pushed it aside. No time. She kept searching and finally found it. A folder labeled uplink_satcom_control. She opened it. A simple graphical interface appeared, showing the uplink status. Next to a blinking antenna icon, a line of bright green text. Status. Transmitting. Channel OP, and below was a progress bar showing a data stream being uploaded and sent continuously. Sent to the dark nebula on her star map. Sent to the others. She had found the lighthouse. It was right here. And it was on asterisk. Aina's hand trembled as she moved the cursor to the upload button on the interface. This was it. The culmination of every effort, every fear, every sacrifice. All condensed into a single click. Before acting, she called Mateo. He answered immediately. "I'm here." His voice came, tense. "I'm in," Aina said. Her tone oddly steady, like a pilot reading a pre-flight checklist. "I'm in the uplink control interface. The gateway's open. I'm about to send it." She briefly explained her weapon. A data packet designed to disrupt the original signal, turning the star map into a warning and the sleep rhythm into a scream of pain. "Stay on the line, Mateo," she said. "I don't want to do this alone." "I'm not going anywhere," he replied, and the steadiness in his voice was the last thing anchoring her to reality. Aina took a breath and clicked. The system reacted instantly. Her screen flashed red. Alerts blared. "Access denied and anomalous data packet detected." The upload progress bar inched to 1% and froze. Simultaneously, the energy log window showed a red spike. The rig's power draw from its surroundings surged tenfold, and the hum from her computer's speakers, still streaming live from the ocean floor, changed. It was no longer a steady rhythm. It grew erratic, higher pitched, almost an angry growl. It knew there was an intruder. Its digital immune system had activated. It's fighting back. Aina said into the phone, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "It's trying to trace me. My proxies, they're dropping." This was a battle she was almost certain to lose. She wasn't a hacker. She was up against an intelligence millennia old. Using a deep-sea supercomputer as its body, she had to find another way. A path its defenses wouldn't notice. She frantically scrolled through system directories, searching for a vulnerability, a secondary function. Then she saw it. A protocol labeled emergency_beacon_test. A test function for an emergency signal, designed to override all standard broadcast channels in a rig crisis. It had the highest priority, and likely fewer security layers. This was her. Only shot as disconnect warnings multiplied. She rerouted her data packet, disguising it as an emergency test file, and pushing it into this protocol. This time, the progress bar moved slowly. Agonizingly slowly 10%. The growl from the speakers grew shriller 30%. Her screen began to glitch. The system was trying to lock her out 60%. Half her proxies were down 80%. Come on, she whispered. Leaning forward, 99% connection terminated. Access REVOK, terminal went black. She'd been kicked out, but it was too late. The packet had been sent. Her scream had been launched into the Cosmosana, sat frozen, staring at the dead screen. Over the phone, Mateo's panicked voice broke through. Ana? What happened? Are you there? She didn't answer immediately. She was listening, the angry growl from her speakers, tied to the rig's final audio stream, had stopped. For a moment, there was only static silence. Then a new sound rose from the abyss, not a hum, not a growl, a hiss of pure pain and rage, unmistakable. It was an echo of the signal she'd sent. She'd wounded it. She'd succeeded. It hurt it. Ana whispered into the phone, her voice trembling with a mix of exhaustion, fear, and wild pride. I think it hurt it, Mateo. The battle was over. But the war had just begun. They'd angered a god. And the question now was, what does a wounded god do next? The hiss from the abyss fell silent. Ana's connection was fully severed. Her computer screen was a blank void, its silence more terrifying than the earlier roar. Ana? Mateo's voice came through the phone, a fragile thread to reality. What was that? I heard something. It hurt it, Ana repeated. I think it hurt it. In the days and weeks that followed, they lived in a state of breathless waiting. They braced for a consequence, a retaliation on a global scale. A catastrophic earthquake from the North Sea, a mysterious tsunami, a sudden shift in ocean current. But nothing happened. The world kept turning. News reports droned out about politics, sports, celebrities. The silence from the hotspots on Ana's map was more terrifying than the signals before. The silence of a wounded predator retreating to its lair to lick its wounds and plan revenge. Or perhaps they had truly killed it. They would never know for sure. And that uncertainty became their new prison. 1 year later, the world hadn't ended. But Ana and Mateo's world, Hadana, had left the Institute. She couldn't keep up the pretense any longer. Now she worked as a freelance translator, a job that let her stay in the sterile safety of her apartment. No maps hung on her walls. No algorithms ran. The cosmic war had ended, giving way to a silent internal battle. Mateo still piloted his boat in Xochimilco. Tourists came and went, their laughter loud. But he was a shadow now, a quiet ferryman speaking only when necessary. He no longer listened to their stories. He just wanted to end each day and return to his solitude. But they weren't entirely alone. They still had each other. Their ritual calls continued, but their purpose had shifted again. They no longer sought signals from the world. They sought signals from their own bodies. Anything today? Nothing. Scars still normal. You? Nothing either. Skin's fine. Good. That was it. A reassurance that, for today, the monster hadn't risen within on a Tuesday evening. After their routine call, Ana stepped into the bathroom to prepare for bed. She flicked on the light, its cold, white LED glow illuminating everything. She washed her face, brushed her teeth, mechanical acts of a life programmed by fear. Finally, she did what she always did. She stood close to the mirror, beginning her nightly inspection. Back of her hand, arms, face. She knew every mole, every tiny scar by heart. She looked at her neck. Just below her urlabine, she saw it for a moment. Shorter than a heartbeat, under the bathroom light. A small patch of skin didn't reflect normally. It shimmered. A faint, almost invisible glimmer of nacre, of fish scales. A chillingly familiar sheen. Her heart stopped. She blinked hard. She raised a trembling hand, fingers brushing the spot. It felt normal, soft and warm. She looked again. The shimmer was gone. Just her pale skin remained a trick of the light, a hallucination, born of exhaustion and a year of paranoia, or a warning. The first sign of a fever beginning within her. She would never know for sure, and that was the final sentence. Anna stared at the woman in the mirror, a stranger with eyes forever marked by fear. She had escaped the island. She had survived the war, but she realized her watch had never ended. Would never end, because now, the enemy she had to guard against for the rest of her life was herself.
In the shadow of my archive, a new horror stirs. Date to listen.